Steelrising is an action RPG with a Souls-like subgenre. Kumusta? It's Gamer After Shift, bringing you the top 5 reasons why Steelrising is a game worth your after shift. I would put a disclaimer that this video might contain spoilers, and my inputs are pretty based on my experience as a player. Without further ado, let's get to Number 5. Strong world building and atmosphere. While the game's narrative is based on real-life people and settings, it still is fictional in nature. What Steel Rising did best is the effective execution of displaying an alternate history of Paris under siege. Playing the game, I was really able to feel the unsettling vibes of the streets, seeing bodies all around, especially the massacre surrounding the unstable bosses. The game excels in building a world that feels cohesive and consistent. I was able to see the beauty of the late 17th century Paris while also feeling the dread that envelopes the city because everywhere you go, you can pretty much see the aftermath of the Automat's rampage. The experience alone made me interested in researching about the places and point of interest based in the game. I actually became curious of the real stuff because of how the game portrayed them. Number 4. Engaging exploration. I really love the exploration in Steel Rising. However, it can really suck during the early stages of the game. That's why it's also listed in my top 5 reasons why Steel Rising isn't worth the aftershift. That being said, traversal really picks up later in the game as you unlock more movement abilities. You get abilities to hook onto places, ram into walls, or dash mid-air. One of the things I thoroughly enjoyed was the platforming. There's quite a few of them and it's not too challenging but adds a bit of refreshment in between combats. Exploring nooks and crannies and discovering new areas was great. Getting items or supplies was fine, but using movement abilities to get around was pretty much the best part of the traversal. I guess it's true that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Number 3. Captivating storyline. As with all the Spider games I played so far, the narrative doesn't fail to deliver. Well, this is pretty much my third, but I guess I can still assume. The way the story is told is great. It's simple and straightforward despite having some additional branching stories. The lore behind the automats is one of my favorite story arc in the game. The stakes are high, the protagonist is engaging. Seeing Aegis transform from a soulless piece of metal to having her own thoughts and agency was one of the best narrative deliveries I've seen because it's subtle and was not addressed in the game. You get to experience it as a player rather than it being shoved down your throat through an exposition. This makes story and narrative one of the strongest aspects of the game. Number 2. Added combat mechanics. I have my fair share of Souls-like games and it's pretty uncommon to have the jump ability, yet alone being integrated in combat. In Steel Rising, you get added combat mechanics like a jumping heavy or light attack, a dash attack, and an evade attack. The moves you use for traversal also becomes a combat ability as they all deal damage and has their respective elemental type. Being able to have multiple different openers is one of my most favorite feature of Steel Rising. The weapon pool is also interesting. Having a robot slicing enemies with fans a la Kitana is just crazy. The weapon pool has a diverse skill floor and skill ceiling, allowing for players of all levels to enjoy the game by choosing the weapon that best suits them. Overall, the combat in Steel Rising is neither slow like a traditional Souls-like game, nor fast like most action RPG. It sits right in the middle in perfect balance. Number 1. Low entry barrier to Souls-like genre. I have played 2 Souls-like games before and didn't finish it because of how ridiculous the combat was, as an outsider. Now, playing this game has enabled me to have basic understanding and fundamentals needed for Souls-like experience, even better than Flintlock. Well, to be fair, Flintlock isn't marketed as Souls-like, but rather Souls-light. The biggest thing about Steel Rising is the assist mode. This feature allows practically anyone to experience a Souls-like game without going through the journey to mastery by constantly dying. And this isn't just a turn-on button. You can actually modify the assistance to your liking, from minimal to becoming invulnerable, and you can actually keep changing in as you play. It's not something that you just set from the beginning and leave it. This means you can make things trivial on demand. This is the top reason why Steelrising is worth your aftershift, because you can still enjoy a bit of Souls-like experience without hassling you the typical consequences associated in the genre, especially during a long day at work, at home, or at school. Although, some of you might not like it since it's sort of ruining the expectation from a specific game genre. Think of it as a unique selling proposition from Steelrising instead. And that's pretty much my top 5 reasons why Steelrising is worth playing after your shift. Let me know in the comments if you know other reasons or if you have a favorite feature and why. This is Gamer After Shift. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more gaming content, and I'll see you around.